When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for jumping on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast today. I'm super excited to be introducing one of my newest business partners in Ketchikan, Alaska. How you doing today, Sharli? Arntzen?
I'm doing so good. It's great to be talking with you, Andre, and sharing a little bit about our story and what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got a pretty cool story of how we got connected, and I'll let you kind of share things. But let's jump right in. And first of all, let's tell our viewers a little bit about your real estate background. I know it's been 10 plus years that you've been in the business. Started off as an agent on a team, I think, right at RE/MAX, and started your own independent company. Let's share that a little bit so people know what kind of a rock star agent that we have here in front of our audience. And hey, listeners, anyone that has questions for Sharli, please put them in the chat box, and we'll just go ahead and ask your questions away. But go ahead, Sharli, tell us a little bit about your real estate background.
Oh, thank you. So what happened was I had a business. I was an entrepreneur at 19. I had a few different irons in the fire, and then it was time to expand our family. And you can't work 80 hours a week and build that basis and that foundation. So I pretty much quit everything, and then found out we were having another one. So I decided I needed a job that allowed me the flexibility to be available to my children when they needed me. I love working. I've always loved working, and real estate seemed like a natural fit because my husband actually does land development, and he does subdivisions. He puts in utilities and that sort of thing. So went and got my license at 7.5 months pregnant with my second child, and joined a lovely group of folks there at RE/MAX of Ketchikan. Incubated there for about 4.5 years, and just felt like I wanted to go a different direction with my real estate business. And we have a very small market here in Ketchikan. On some years, we've only sold 157 properties, and now we're up to over 220 or so a year. And so it's a pretty small market. So it allowed me a lot of flexibility and things like that. So I don't even know the number, but I know I did just over 4 million in my first 6 months of real estate. And I had no idea that was a good thing. But because we have such a small market, everybody does everything here. And we are listing agents, we're buying agents, we're working with all different types of properties and all scopes when it comes to commercial, land, condos, all of that. And I just really felt like I wanted to focus my energy on doing what I was doing the best I can possibly do it. Mm-hmm. So I started in March 15th, 2015. I turned in my keys at RE/MAX, and I'd given them about 2 months notice. And so I basically just wasn't bringing on clients at that point, but just wrapping up what I was doing. And then on my spare time, kind of building what I wanted to do as an independent brokerage. And that was back in 2015. So I built the company, had people come to me and ask to get their license, mentored some, built some some agents up. We had some move and leave. And then I will say that one of the things I was going to bring up today, Andre, is one of the reasons why I wanted to be an independent brokerage is because I like the control. I like to know where things are, where they're going, and I like to know if my clients are exposed in any way. So I recognize that the world is going to this digital platform, especially in the midst of a pandemic. And when I first started this company, I always said, if the satellites go down, we got to be able to do our job. So we need to make sure we have everything in the file and all of that. And then now if the satellites go down, we got a lot bigger problems. So I'm really excited to be joining with EXP and partnering with you and just having that technology and those resources at my fingertips so I can share those with my clients and give them the best service possible. And it's really not about me, right? It's about what we're doing for our clients.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a long-winded. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, that was all good. It's all great. Thanks for sharing. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, you started your own independent company, really your 5th year in business as a real estate agent?
Yeah, I was just coming up on my 5th year.
And we all understand that. That's, I think a lot of, at least the entrepreneurial agents out there, we all start somewhere but we're paying a split to a broker or whatever for the training and for the mentorship and for whatever that they give us. But a lot of us, our goal is to start our own independent company, right? I mean, I did the same thing, not as quickly as you did, but, we did the same thing in New York. But I like to ask people, especially someone like yourself who's an independent broker owner, where you're in control of everything and you like to be in control. And you didn't have any splits. What was the most interesting thing that had you want to take a look at this model? And I know there was a lot of time that went through and a lot of research and in which we obviously it's a big decision when you're looking to leave basically the company that you built to I say upgrade to having the EXP platform, but people don't understand that in the beginning. But what was it for you that how you really just be open-minded to take a look?
Well, you're hitting the soft spot right in the beginning there, sir. Feeling a little emotional with that question. God is pretty magnificent. And it was a verse, right? That's what got us here. John 3:17, which is the verse that God put in my heart this year. Everybody knows John 3:16, right? Everybody knows God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son that who shall believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. But I've been a Christian for over 20 years. Oh, wow, 30 years now. And we forget John 3:17, which is Jesus was not sent into the world to condemn the world, but to save it through him. And with all of the crazy that's going on in the world today, it speaks to my heart a lot. The reminder that we need to be gentle with each other, that we're not here to condemn each other, that we're not here to judge each other. And so I don't remember what post it was or something, but I just put that John 3:17 post and you reached out to me. And for me, it was totally a God thing. The way that the steps were ordered, the pace of things, because I make decisions quickly, but I also don't do them hastily. So when it's time to make the decision, I will make the decision and the decision's been made, but there's also a lot of lead up to that, right? Mm-hmm. So you reached out, we started with I think a 30-minute phone call. You met my family, and then one thing just kind of led to another for taking this, what I feel like is I can't offer to my clients or my agents specifically the things that EXP can offer. And to be honest, I don't want to that's not what I want to do. I don't want to learn technology. I don't want to be an IT person. I want to have good risk management and be knowledgeable. Right. But I want to serve my clients. And so for me, the more I looked into it, the more it became apparent to me that there were multiple avenues in which I could build not only my business, but the business of those around me and those that I come in contact with. One of the biggest things, and I don't know if we've even talked about this, is when I started the brokerage, I have an attitude of you can't do this business part-time. Like it's just really hard, I think, for a lot of folks to provide a level of service that consumers deserve if they're not taking their real estate business seriously. But I have come across and worked with wonderful agents that just do part-time work, or they're not in it for the drive. They're not in it for the numbers. They're in it for the service. They're in it for the client. So it's helping me reframe my brain and look at ways that I can help support other people around me so that they can start in real estate. Getting started in real estate is one of the hardest things, I think, because you don't know when you're going to get paid. So, the reason I was able to pull it off is because my husband had a decent job, and our deal was, when we started, his responsibility were the bills. So he had to pay the mortgage, he had to pay the utilities, he had to pay the essentials, right? And we budgeted all that out. And then what I was making was going to be extra, right? And we were able to maintain that the first couple years. One other thing that happened in the midst of all of that is when I decided to go into real estate, and the year before I had shut down my other 3 companies, I ended up having to declare bankruptcy. And so this was 2009. I got my license in 2011. And I literally, at that point, when I got my license, I was on an envelope system. So if I got any money, I would put the money in, like divvy it out, and literally in envelopes that I had every month. So I have a budget that I work with, right?
Yeah.
And just $8 sometimes would go in the envelope because that's all I had.
Wow.
And so by using those just basic principles of saving first and then putting that money away for a rainy day, I was able to build a nest egg and continue to grow our financial stability through good customer service. And I feel like I'm gone off track here a little bit, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey with you, Andre, here. I think we're coming up on 6 months now, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to kind of just see what EXP can offer my clients, and yeah.
Well, I thank you for your due diligence. I mean, some people are just not open. They're not open-minded to even take a look. And it was cool. I mean, it was just on LinkedIn. You posted that John 3:17, and I didn't really even know what it was. I'm not very good at memorizing stuff. Of course, I know 3:16, but I actually made me go look it up. And I just messaged something back to you, and then that's just asked you if you're open to having a conversation about something we were doing in Alaska. I needed a good agent there, and then we got on the phone. But I want to congratulate you for being open-minded and then continuing to do the due diligence all the way through, because so many people, they look at it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or maybe spend an hour or two looking at things, but you can't make a kind of a decision like that in an hour or two. I mean, there's a lot to really find out all the perks and benefits and everything EXP offers to the agents and to your team members, and of course to your clients. It takes some time to really do that and to do the math, right? Walk us through, if it's okay. It did take several months, but walk us through some of your due diligence period and what you did and who we talked to at EXP and how, that was helpful to you to come to the decision that by moving over to EXP, it was going to be, you already had a small boutique that you were well known for in your market to take care of your people. But I know you feel like you've been able to put that boutique brokerage that you're known for, and then lay it on top of the EXP platform to help your company, your team members, and really serve your clients that much better. But walk us through your due diligence.
So this is my binder. I did a lot of research.
That's awesome.
And I printed everything and I read everything. And
put that up there and see how thick that was again. Awesome. So you did some homework. You took it seriously and really to find out, hey, is this going to be a good move for my team and my customers or not? I applaud you for doing that work, because I find out when people do that and spend all that time and effort, 95% of the time they come to that same conclusion. But sorry, I'll stop talking for a second.
No, not at all. It's good to hear that. You know, I think that would be true of anyone if you're really digging in. And what I ended up doing was a pros cons analysis, and I was looking to see if I had it. I had it on a big 11.5 or 17 by 11 sheet of paper, and it's more than just the pros and cons that you can put on paper. And I recognize that very much. It's very much about the people. So spent a lot of time also in groups and checking out the culture in those groups. How are people speaking to each other, responding to each other, taking care of each other? So yeah, it's really important, I think, to do that due diligence, because especially when, for me, like, this is my baby, you know, we built this brand. It wasn't just me. I've had wonderful dozens of amazing people come alongside me that have helped me. And I think we've really helped increase the caliber and the level of real estate in Ketchikan. We do things differently. We try to not just do things because that's the way that they've always been done. You know, like, I was one of the first ones to bring buyer's agency agreements to town. Things that we do now, we just kind of laugh because other offices are doing them as well. So it's like, hey, good, we must be doing something right, you know? So that was your question, right? Just about how the research.
Yeah, the due diligence that you did and the different steps along the way, so you could make an informed decision. Because a lot of people don't put the time and effort into like you did, and they just do a little bit and they just, it's not for me. But it's a process, especially for a broker owner. And I like people to know, you know, the steps that you took so you could figure out that it was a good fit for you.
Yeah, it did. You know, there's always pros and cons to everything, right? So you just have to be able to weigh those pros and cons for yourself and for your business and for your community. This was not a decision that was even made probably in 5 months. Like, this is something that's been coming for 7 years. Is how do we meet our people where they are, give them the level of service that they appreciate. Not necessarily meeting their expectations all the time, because sometimes people's expectations are a little more than I'm capable of. But yeah, I think it's really important to just take a hard look. If anyone is considering joining with you or with EXP, to take a hard look at the cost benefit analysis. And 20% can feel like a lot, but there is a max. And then I just think about the resources and the network that I've already been able to gain in the short time that I've been with EXP. The groups are amazing. And one of the other things I will mention is I have 2 agents that I follow in the country. And I didn't realize that they were EXP agents. And so once I was like, oh, well, they're with EXP and they're really happy. And they've even talked about it. You know, I just, so those things I think go a long way too. People being able and being willing to share their story about why they're with EXP and where they're going with their business. So that's really what it's all about for me. Is I have a game plan, like, you know. And there's an expression that I learned a couple years ago, because one of the things I like to do in my off time is plan events and put things together. So I put together a couple music festivals here in Ketchikan. We'd not had them here before, and a gentleman who was helping me organize that is ex-military, and he said, "No plan survives first contact with the enemy." So that's really changed my life. Like, that has freed me up in so many ways, because, and to me, it's a godly thing too, because we can make all the plans in the world and we can have a perfect we've got these things all ordered and lined up, and guess what? Joke's on you. All this is going to change. So, we make the best plans that we can, and then we have to be willing to adjust. And that's another reason why I think I try to be open-minded, is because it's not about me. It's not my plan.
Yeah.
What does God want, and what does he want for me? And I don't know. That's where I'm at too. I'm at an age where I can finally say, I don't really know, but I'm here and I'm loving it. And we're doing the best we can to take care of each other. So.
That's awesome. You talked about, that you dug into some groups. I'm assuming, I know one of them must be our private Facebook Honey Badger group under Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, and Al Stasik, the guys own NAEA, right? The National Association of Expert Advisors, where people are paying $25,000 a year for that coaching and training, and we get access to it for free. Is that one of the groups that you're talking about? And I gave you free access to that for several months to kind of feel us out, see what our group's all about. And is there any other groups that you were referencing?
That was probably the most specific one. I would look on, because I'm part of other real estate groups, so that aren't EXP groups.
Right.
So I would search in those groups for what other people had to say about EXP. And a lot of them that I'm in, people will go into these chats and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Can you tell me the pros and cons? What's your experience? So I'd read those threads and hear what different, what people had to say. I went to a training in Juneau, 2006, 18, 16 in there. And EXP was new to Juneau at that point. And there was a couple people in my class and they loved it. Oh, they just were so happy with it. And so, it's those little seeds that have been planted, right, over the last 12 years, that have also encouraged me. One of those groups, I want to name drop for a second, because I don't know if this will go anywhere, but there was a gentleman in one of those groups, Eli Torres, and he's got, I don't know, brokerages somewhere. And so it was just funny to me. And people like that with those types of personalities attract other like-minded people, right? And so I love people that are bold. I love it when people are honest. I love it when they're authentic. We don't have to agree, but if we can have discussion and walk away with mutual respect and learning and understanding, then everybody wins, in my opinion.
Everybody wins, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. You want to shout out to...
Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to shout out to some of our listeners, Lydia, Nick, Abony, Carol, Fred, Bobby, Jean. Any questions, please put them in the box there, and they're happy to answer them, for have Sharli answer them. What were you going to say, Sharli?
Oh, I lost it.
Oh, okay. It'll come back to you. One thing that really sticks out with me, and tell me if it made it helped or not, because we were strangers. I never knew you up until that first LinkedIn, conversation, and we got on a phone call and, went to the next steps. But being a complete stranger, you want to do your due diligence, and you asked me how many people were on my team, and not too many people asked this, but you asked me, how many people left the team and why. And you remember what I did for you?
You gave me a list of names and phone numbers so that I could call those fine folks and find out what their opinions were and why they left. And there was just a handful.
Yeah. And no one's asked me that before, but I think that was great. You were doing your due diligence. Hey, if someone asks for a referral, they're always going to give you people that are saying good things, right? They're not going to give you the one that's, they weren't happy for whatever reason. But yeah, I printed off my entire back office of the people I personally sponsored, of all the people that were here in the company and the ones that left, and just sent them to you and said, call anybody that you want. And I'm sure you did call a handful. But that's being transparent and honest, and letting you do your due diligence so you can make sure, hey, is this guy, is this group, is this organization I'm going to join? Are they going to just get me plugged in and get me to join and then never hear from them again? And we want to make sure that that you're joining a family, and we're really excited to have Alaska in our group now. I'm pretty excited about that. So
part of the group for sure. I thought it was always amazing. Whenever I had any questions at all, Andre, you'd be able to get those answers to me so quickly. And sometimes even before I had the questions, and being able to get people on the phone when you didn't know the answer meant a lot. And it was another big reason for me also why we went with EXP. Because we were doing our due diligence. When I say years in the making, there was a few other franchises that we looked at joining, and they didn't pan out for one reason or another. So when we did the side-by-side comparison, it just made sense with the Honey Badgers group specifically, and NEAE and your organization. It was a good thing.
Yeah. The good Lord's brought me some amazing people, and it's helping us really grow. I'm amazed of all the great people that we have on our organization, and excited about how we're going to continue changing people's lives. You're in such a small, tiny little market. That must be a little bit, I'm thinking of your decision of taking a look at EXP as well, as how you can really start expanding, your current business in your real estate income, because now you're going to be able to be connected. I think we're in 22 countries now. And you'll have access to all those different states, countries that you never really had access to before, right?
Yeah. And people seem so willing to cooperate, which is nice too. And just network in general, so that's one of the pitches I'm using when I'm trying to explain this to my local market. We are a small island community. You have to fly or boat to get here, and everybody knows everybody's business, even if they don't want to, kind of a deal. So it was important to me that when we did this rollout, that we maintain our brand, and we didn't come across to our community like we were selling out, if that makes sense. So we've worked really hard to merge the brands and make sure that we're trying to put the information out there in a way that people understand that Providence Properties isn't going away.
Right.
We are now under the umbrella of an amazing global organization with a network, in over 22 countries and over 80,000 agents and technology resources that are unsurpassed. So people have been, so far I've gotten nothing but positive, no negative, feedback yet. I'm sure it's coming, but that'll be good because then we can grow and make it better next time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Providence Properties is here to stay. Everyone's going to still get your small town feel and all the things that you do to bend over backwards and kept you on the top of your market, but you get to lay it on the EXP platform to help everybody grow and win. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for what we're gonna be able to do for maybe some local real estate agents that are in your area. Maybe if there's some agents out there listening that maybe they're not 100% happy where they're at and looking for a change, or maybe they're super happy where they are, but have heard how EXP is the fastest growing company on the globe, and they see somebody like yourself as a top producer in your area to merge your company with EXP. Are you taking on agents? Are you looking to grow your personal team of agents to be on your quote unquote team, or just agents to come in your office? Because I know you have like an official EXP. I don't know if they call it a branch office or a hub. Share what you have there that you've opened up in Ketchikan and what you're looking for to help grow the market there.
Yeah. So one of the other things, another God thing in my mind anyway, is the fact that, with EXP, there's a broker for every state, right? And in the state of Alaska, the law says, the statutes say that you have to hang a shingle. So EXP being a cloud-based brokerage, that was one of the questions I had when these people in Juneau told me about it, is they're like, yeah, I'm working from my home. It's wonderful. And I couldn't do that. My home. But so I asked, so one of the things that they have to do in Alaska is they have to have a place in a commercial area to hang a shingle. And I've built this brokerage up here. They needed a new managing broker for their Southeast Alaska branch. And so it just worked out. So we've had to do a lot of work, and it's good. So we're still a little bit in the transition. But my Providence Properties location is going to become EXP Realty Southeast Alaska. And so we will be the Southeast Alaska branch, and I'll be the associate broker for this location. So essentially anyone probably south of Valdez, if they're going to get a license with EXP, it will most likely be hanging in my office here in Ketchikan. And I'll be able to help support them and build them up and send them leads, because there's so much real estate still happening here in Ketchikan and here in Alaska in general. So I would absolutely love to take on more agents. There's more phone calls than I can manage in a day right now, and as I'm sure many people are experiencing.
Right.
And yeah, so I want to make it so that there's not too many options, right? I tend to complicate things, and I have to constantly remind myself to keep it simple, keep it simple. So we would be glad to build up new agents, take on agents who have been in the business for a while, who want to just have more control over their own business, and then be able to support them with some back-end office support here from our location.
Awesome. So brand new agents or agents that need to be on a team, you'll definitely consider, taking a look at those people. And then agents that are experienced, maybe they're doing, 20, 30 plus homes a year in that small market, which is a big thing, right? And they're can be self-sufficient and they have their own business, but they would like to lay what they have on the EXP platform and gain, all the benefits from the healthcare to the ownership, right? To the 50 to 60 hours with the coaching and training. They can do that as well, not be on your team. So they do their own thing, but because of our model, they can absolutely be able to do that, right? So we have your phone number on the screen there. So anyone listening that would like to reach out to Sharli, just to pick her brain, definitely call her and see and just have a private and confidential, conversation. Because when you join Sharli's team, you join my team and everybody in our group, and we pour into everybody. Our goal is your goal, whatever that might be, and we're excited to partner up with you. And I know it's relatively a newer transition because this is your announcement of just getting going in EXP, but what surprised you the most about EXP? What were you not expecting, and it's even better than what you thought it would be? If there's one thing you could think of.
The first thing that comes to mind is, as a broker owner, I don't have to do trust accounting anymore. So as of June 1st, I no longer have to pay sales tax and report sales tax to my local government. And I was nervous, very nervous, about not having that ability to just, cut a refund check for my clients' earnest money, for example. They have been amazing. So dealing with the accounting and just that whole transition process, how we deposit things, we don't even have to go to the bank anymore. Like, it is kind of weird. We're still getting used to it. Miss those, cookies and cheap coffee, but I guess we can make our own here. So that is definitely one thing that I was very pleasantly surprised about, is the load, which doesn't seem like that much, but it is, of taking on the trust accounting and the sales tax reporting. That was a great benefit, in addition to so many others.
Probably the liability of being the broker owner of your own independent and the responsibility of the agents, that might be a little weight off your shoulders as well. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, that was one thing too, as I met with the broker for Alaska. You introduced me to her in the world to start.
That's the first time I met with her. I mean, I hadn't talked to anyone in Alaska before. So this has all been brand new for me as far as meeting that Alaska broker and asking her for help. And she was amazing. She got back to me quickly. was able to answer my questions. I remember, I forgot what the question was, but you had, and literally as soon as we got the Zoom, I messaged her through Workplace and got the answer back probably within 5 or 10 minutes before you even got going. But she was amazing on my end.
Yeah, and she's a kick in the pants on my end. She's fun. I'm excited to work with her, and she's got a new managing broker, Mark Babbitt, and they've been great. So the transition is not easy, but I think your attitude is going to set the tone for how it's going to go. So I went into it knowing, because I'm part of those Facebook groups, having that connection and being able to bounce questions off of other people who are so willing to answer them. I figured it's going to be about a 2 to 3 month process, and we're, 6 weeks in. So I think we're doing pretty good. We're feeling good about it here in the office, and having to learn new systems and technology that we've been using sticky notes for 12 years, 10 years, whatever. So, but knowing that this is going to take us into a new trajectory for our business is making it exciting and relieving. You get that pressure relief valve in one location, and you get a little bit more pressure over here, but it's refining us and hopefully making it so that we can serve our clients in a better capacity.
Yeah, I mean, the corporate is cloud-based, but of course, like, you have your own individual office, and the EXP agents will be able to come to that office if they want to do that. But they can also, especially in Alaska, if you get a snowstorm and a ton of snow and you can't get into the office, I mean, everything you can do, absolutely everything that you need, from the training to getting the information to your brokers, we're all cloud-based, right? When COVID hit, our hours of training went from 50 hours a week to 60 hours a week, figuring agents would have more time to do even more training when that first all happened a few years ago. But we didn't cancel, one meeting. Nothing stopped. Everything continued to grow because, we're in the 21st century here. And heck, Glenn Sanford, the owner who started his company, 13 years ago, I think now, which is only 2 years after the iPhone started, to come up with the idea of having a cloud-based real estate company. And it's been in the making. When I started 3 years ago, we only had 15,000 agents. And I think last I heard we had 81,000. It's been an unbelievable ride. And, they're predicting if we continue to grow like we are, in the next 10 years or less, we'll be at a million agents in 100 different countries. So imagine the reach that we're going to be able to have when we continue to grow like that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I do want to put a little plug in for Ketchikan, Alaska. We have a massive tourism industry. It's one of our economic backbones here. And before the pandemic, we had the highest number of visitors that we'd ever had at 1.23 million people came to our little town between primarily the months of May to September. We had a year there where we had no cruise ships. Last year was a testing year. And this year they are predicting the highest number of visitors we have ever had at 1.4 million. People coming in on cruise ships. We have a town of about 12,000 people that live here. And some days we will have as many as 18,000 visitors in one day. Wow. So it more than doubles the size of our town. So if anyone is on a cruise and you come to Ketchikan, Alaska, I hope you will come and see me and check out our office and get plugged in. We want to put a map up in the front space so that if people come, they can, put a little dot on where they're from, if they're EXP agents, and leave their card. So if anybody does come to Ketchikan, I hope you'll look me up here at Providence Properties, or give me a call or send me a text or something.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. That's what's cool with so many agents and so many different markets around the globe. When someone has a referral of a friend, a family member, whoever, we can normally plug them in very quickly, not just to an agent, but to a top producing agent that can really help their clients and know that they're going to be well taken care of. So referrals are going to be probably a big thing for you, Sharli, I think, in going in and out of Alaska for sure.
Yeah, they definitely come both ways.
If there was just one takeaway that you want to make sure that if anyone's here listening today, a close friend, someone you care about, or maybe an agent that you haven't even met yet, what would you want to make sure that they took away from today's interview? What would you want to make sure that they understand about EXP or you?
Well, I think that I give all my success to God, and nothing that is considered good or attractive or well done comes without sacrifice and intentionality and consistency. So I'm excited to be working with EXP and having that basis, having that acceptance, and being given the opportunity to work with people who are also of that mindset, where integrity is important, and it's not just about the money, although that's why we keep showing up, right? But really, it's about the relationships, and that's the foundation for any success in real estate, I think. I've said for a while now here at Providence Properties, we're bridge builders, not bridge burners. And I think that that's important attitude to have when you're in real estate in general. You know, treat other people like you want to be treated, and try to play smart. You know.
That's awesome. I want to shout out to Rajat who joined us earlier, and Ricky and Sarah. Thanks for jumping on again. If you have any last minute questions before we sign off here, put them in the chat. We'll ask Sharli just a few other things. I want to ask you. I know you're a planner, you're a researcher. You really respect what you've done before making the decision to partner with us. What's your goals for your first year at EXP, and have you planned out or thought of your goals for the next several years out? What are your bigger plans for Providence Properties being part of EXP now?
Thank you for thanks for the question. So when I started this company, my intention, my plan was always to be the broker for 10 years, and then do associate broker, move into associate broker work, find somebody to manage basically, and then my hope and my goal is to do real estate development. My husband, because of what he does and my love of real estate and my love of my community, we're in a housing shortage, a massive housing shortage. It feels like worse than everybody else, but I'm sure it does wherever you're at looking for real estate too. So we've got some plans to do that. And that was another reason why EXP was attractive, is because of the long range income that can be generated through that relationship building stuff that I'm already doing. So that's my big goal right now, is to try to get into some real estate development here in the next 3 years or so. I'm going to still continue to serve clients and work for my people and build others up in real estate. That's really what my dream is. So I've gone from not owning a single piece of real estate when I got my real estate license. I'd never bought real estate before. I've bought now multiple investment properties, sold a couple of them, and done pretty darn well. And so just trying to share that with others, the experience, and hopefully help them level up to where they want to go next.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited for you. And you mentioned basically, I mean, there's multiple opportunities, right? I mean, there's multiple ways of earning income in EXP besides just selling a house. As real estate agents, we all are selling houses on a daily basis, and we get paid for that. But I feel bad for the people that are in their 80s and they're still out, still selling houses because they have to, and they never, unfortunately, had a long-term plan. And with the multiple ways of earning income and ownership, it's a game changer for most people. So I'm excited for what you're going to do in your county, in your community, and how we're going to be able to help bring Providence Properties and what you bring to the table, across all the rest of the U.S. and Canada and abroad. One of my last questions I normally ask is, if you could join EXP all over again, would there be anything that you would do differently?
I'm gonna bite my tongue for my smart aleck response, but I don't really think so. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's a God thing that's brought us this far, and I think if we just, to anyone watching, if you keep showing up and asking questions, then the answers will come, even if they're not in the time that you expect them to. Sometimes it's hard to make a decision and to go in a different path than other people don't want to go or aren't willing to go or are uncertain about the results. So I would just encourage anybody who is considering it or thinking about it to just bite the bullet. It's been hard. I had to close my office, that I built for 7 years, but technically I'm not. So it's just going through that emotional roller coaster a little bit, giving myself, coming into this, giving myself that 60 to 90 days to get my feet underneath me and feel like I can get back on track with having that work-life balance that we all continually miss the beat on. I heard a great quote one time. Somebody said, balancing is not a state of being. It's an act. Like you're right. You're constantly, it's not something, you can't just be balanced. It's a constant work in progress. So finding that and then trying to ride that wave for as long as you can and rolling with the punches, going down and getting back up. And lesson learned. I actually have a folder that I keep in my thing that I've had since my first year of real estate that says lessons learned. And
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I've got letters from clients. I've got notes from things that had happened. Then I'll pull that out once a year or so and just be like, oh yeah, this is why I do what I do. And so if you can keep that focus and forget about the rest, then I think everything always works out. I mean, everything's going to be okay. It's going to work out. So
what are you most excited about with your new journey, partnering up with us?
The technology. I mean, it's already, I've been doing this for over 10 years without a CRM. And I spent so much time, so many hours researching, trying to find the right one. And so I'm very excited about the integration tools between my website, my lead generation, my marketing campaigns, the ability to capture all of the information, data, notes, relevant materials into one location for my clients. So I'm not trying to figure out where did I put that sticky note or that sticky note got slipped into another folder. I am just so excited to have that, $1,500 a month CRM that we get for $85 on top of all of the other tools, resources, network, people that we get being with EXP.
That's awesome. Any last minute things you want to share before we sign off? I really appreciate your time today and talking with us, Sharli. Any last minute things you want to mention before we sign off?
I will say, if anyone is out there and you're getting started, or even if you're not getting started, because I didn't know about this until my first year and a half in real estate, check out Pathways to Professionalism. It is something that I usually have sticking up, but I just moved my desk. It's a great guide from the NAR puts out to remind us on how we should be treating ourselves and others, our customers, our clients, and the people that we work with. So if you haven't checked it out, check out that Pathways to Professionalism, and happy selling. And, give me a call if you know anyone who wants to buy or sell real estate in Ketchikan.
That's awesome. And my very last question, I promise, I always ask at the end, if you're a movie watcher, what's your all-time favorite movie? Or if you're a reader, what's your all-time favorite book?
Oh, I'm such a movie buff. I love so many movies, too many movies to tell you one, but my favorite book of all time right now.
The Greatest Salesman in the World.
If you have not read this book, you need to get this book. A mentor recommended this book to me. So Andre, this is what we used to do at our market meetings. Pick any number after 52 up to 100.
71.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to page 71. I will live this day as if it is my last. And what shall I do with this last precious day which remains in my keeping? First, I will seal up its container of life so that not one drop spills itself upon the sand. I will not waste a moment mourning yesterday's misfortunes, yesterday's defeats, yesterday's aches of the heart, for why should I throw good after bad? So it's just this, you picked a start of a chapter, which is appropriate because we're wrapping up, but we would just pick a page. And there's 10 scrolls in here, and it's another great guide for how do we interact with each other and how do we think about ourselves. Greatest salesman in the world.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sharli, for that. I appreciate your time today. Thanks for jumping on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm so excited to be in business with you, and we look forward to all the different lives that we're going to change through the good Lord helping us every day.
Amen.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Andre.
Bye,
Talk to you later. Have a good day.